Well, guys, it is Thursday and the day before the playoffs round one starts. There are some games tonight in the state, but most of the games are tomorrow. And there are some really insanely good first round matchups that we've got to go over, talk about them, obviously give our predictions for week one of the playoffs, round one, whatever you want to call it. But first, again, if you guys are new to the channel, be sure to drop a like and subscribe so you guys don't miss out on any of the latest videos. Really quickly, before we hop into the video, it's game day for the Carolina Panthers. Also, today's the release of Captain Marvel 2 and tomorrow and Loki Season 2 as well. Tomorrow we will be watching the Marvels in theaters, so tomorrow's video is going to be a little bit delayed because I got to get reviews and reactions out on the other channel. But Loki Season 2 breakdown should come out tomorrow as well on the other channel. So there's a lot in the movie industry as well. And congrats to the actors and writers. If you guys do not keep up with any of this stuff, they have officially had their deal done. It was done last night, and as of 12:01 Pacific time, the strike has officially been lifted and everybody can go back to work. They have made great progress. Congratulations to the actors and SAG-AFTRA on their deal. But anyway, sports-related topics only. Let's go ahead and hop into some high school football games in around the state as we ramp up for the playoffs. Round one. I think we're just going to do weekly ones and not do bracket because I think that's the better way to go. There's going to be more games to talk about in each region, so longer length videos as well. Game day for the Panthers, but let's go ahead and hop in to some playoff predictions. All right, moving on to the first game, and that is Anniston taking on TR Miller. I'm going TR Miller here. I know Anniston is actually probably the better team if you're asking me, but I think TR Miller is going to win this game. Number one, it's at home for TR Miller, and they looked pretty good offensively, especially last week against St. Michael's. And we'll talk about St. Michael's coming up. But TR Miller is going to win this game at home. They're going to get the job done. Defensively, offensively, they looked outstanding last week. But can the defense prevail? And the defense did not stop St. Michael's, but I think they've learned their lesson, and they will stop Anniston. But it's a matter of when and how they get it done. So, TR Miller is going to get the job done tonight, I believe, is their first playoff game. So, TR Miller, round one game. Moving on, you got into a really shocking matchup, and Dothan, ranked 6th in the state, I believe, is taking on MGM, who is ranked 13th in the state. But since MGM did make the top two in their region, they get to host that 7A Region 4, or 7A Region 4, yes, is really good. They had two teams undefeated, and both of them get to host, but they also had two teams with 2 losses in that playoffs as well, Enterprise and Dothan, for example. So, MGM taking on Dothan. It's going to be a really good matchup, but I'm going with MGM here at home. I really like MGM's squad this year. I've got a couple D1 commits on that roster. I'm looking forward to watching them. Hopefully, I'll be able to keep up with it a little bit, but I am going to MGM here at home against Dothan. Moving on, you got the team that I was just talking about, St. Michael's taking on Hanley, whatever you want to call it. Never heard of Hanley, but they're the better team here, apparently, and I'm going with Hanley here at home to get the job done. I don't really know much about these two schools. I know St. Michael's quarterback is really good because it's Phillip Rivers' son, but I'm going with Hanley here on the road. Enough said. Let's go ahead and talk about the next couple of games because we can really knock those two out right now. All right, now, like I said, the next two games we can get away really quickly right here. Actually, the next 3 games is we'll take the next 4 games as well because we'll talk about both of them. UMS Wright taking on Central of Clay County. Central of Clay County, 10-0, undefeated. UMS Wright's been struggling a lot this year, especially offensively. They've struggled to put up points, and they barely escaped with the win at Williamson and barely made the playoffs. But they made the playoffs, and it gives me enough. I'm going with Central of Clay County, though, against the UMS Wright Bulldogs. Now, the next game is Davidson at Central Phoenix City. They're the number 1 team in the state. No question. Central Phoenix City is really good. They are pretty much one of the squads for D1 commits in Alabama. They're like Saraland and like Hewitt-Tressville as well in the state. So, I'm going Central Phoenix City here at home against the struggling Davidson team. The next game, again, the one I just mentioned, Saraland hosting McAdory. I'm going Saraland here. McAdory barely made it in. Yes, it's Bo Jackson's old school. If you guys did not know that, fun fact about that. But it is Bo Jackson's old school, or at least high school. But I'm going Saraland here. They're the better team in the playoffs. They're probably going to win out and make it to state, but I'm going with SARALAND here. The next game is St. Paul's and Hillcrest, and I wanted to get this game out the way as well because Hillcrest is going to win this game, guys. St. Paul's, come on now. St. Paul's barely got into the playoffs, and I don't understand how they did, but they did it, and they got in. So Hillcrest is going to get the win. So just to recap, Central Clay County is going to get the win. Central Phoenix City is going to get the win. Hillcrest and SARALAND are all getting wins tonight. All the home teams that I just mentioned. So let's move on to the next game, though. Moving on, you got a really, really sneaky matchup this week, and that is Daphne taking on Enterprise. Coach Blackman, if you guys do not know who that is, he was the old coach at Spanish Fort, which is where I go to high school right now. But he left, went to Enterprise, got a better coaching job, and he has brought that team to the playoffs in his 2 consecutive seasons at that school. However, I'm actually going to go Daphne here on the road. I like Daphne's offense. Daphne's offense is really, really good. If they can get it together and their coach doesn't make a few questionable calls during games like Coach Kenny has been doing, they can win this game entirely. It's all up to the offense, how they're going to perform on Friday night. And that is my reasoning behind that. I think they'll live up to it, and they're going to beat Enterprise on the road in a round 1 upset on the road. So give me Daphne against Enterprise. The next game I've never even heard of, so we'll get that out the way and then talk about the next game, which is very, very important. Belia taking on Mobile Christian. Never heard of Belia. Actually, I don't really know where they're from, but I'm going Mobile Christian. That's Sterling Dixon's old school, and speaking of that, Spanish Fort is the next game on the schedule, but I'm going Mobile Christian here. They're the better team by far. They're ranked in the top 25 this year in the state, so I expect them to be ready for whatever this Belia team is. Now, the next game is Bessemer City taking on the Toros. I'm going the Toros here. I like Spanish Fort to get this win. I like Cole McConaughey, Sterling Dixon. That Spanish Fort D-line is really, really good, especially with when you add Josh Powell, Caleb Thompson, all my friends on that roster. That is really, really good, and I am going to go Spanish Fort here, and I expect Spanish Fort to make it to at least the 3rd round in the playoffs, and we'll talk about that next week on the channel as well. So just to recap, Mobile Christian, Spanish Fort getting wins against nobody schools. Moving on, we'll talk about this game, and the next game we got to really, really get into, and that's Beer Guard taking on Gulf Shores. Guys, it's Gulf Shores. Come on now. They're 9-0, 10-0, whatever you want to call it. They are undefeated. They're going to win this game against a nobody school. Now, the next game, though, is a really, really intriguing one. Auburn taking on Baylor. I really wish I was going to this game, Baker, not Baylor. I really wish I was going to go to this game because this game looks to be Game of the Year high school-wise potential. This game is going to be all offense. Really, no teams have really that good of a defense, especially Baker, but I'm going to go Auburn here on the road. They're the better team, and Baker is only hosting them because they are top 2 in the region, and I would expect Auburn to logically get the win against Baylor. However, I'm going to go Auburn. I keep saying Baylor, but Baker, and I'm going to go Auburn to get the win over Baker. So Auburn's going to get the win, and Gulf Shores get wins in this next segment. All right, moving on to the last 3 games. So we'll talk about the last 3 games since they're really not really anything big. Isabella taking on St. Luke's. I'm going St. Luke's here at home because I don't know anything about these 2 schools. My gut just tells me to go with St. Luke's here. The next game, and it's 2A, guys. Come on now. But the next game is Elmore County and Faith Academy. This one is going to be a really good game. And I'm actually going to go Elmore County here on the road at Faith. They have the better record-wise as well. Because Faith Academy, yes, their division's not really that good. 5A Region 1 is really not all that hard to get a host seed in, especially with UMS struggling, Gulf Shores being good. All you got to do is beat out UMS and Williamson or Viger, I believe. So, Elmore County is going to get the win on the road at Faith Academy. I just think that's bound to happen. Now, the last game is Theodore taking on Hueytown. This one's going to be a good one, but I'm going to go Hueytown here. As much as I would love Theodore to win this game, they're in the top 25. Theodore is number 25 in the state, especially after that loss to Spanish Fort. They've been on fire recently, but I think Hueytown's going to have it coming to an end, and Theodore's playoff run will end there. I'm hoping I'm wrong, though. I'm hoping Theodore can actually make it to round 3 so we can host them in round 3 of the playoffs, but I'm going Hueytown here at home. That's just what my gut's telling me. Anyway, yeah, that's going to be it for round 1 of my playoffs Alabama predictions. Let me know yours in the comments down below. If you're liking this series, we're almost done. We only got about 4 weeks until the season wraps up. So hold on to your hats as we get ready. Next year, hopefully around January, is when we'll start that Madden series that I talked about in previous videos. So that being said, I'm going to hop off, get this edited so you guys can watch it on time. Let me know what you thought of the video in the comments down below. And if you're enjoying this series, again, let me know and I might switch it up a little bit. But it is game day for the Panthers, so enjoy the game tonight for Panthers fans, Bears fans. We got to get the win tonight against the Bears. But I'm hoping this sparks a little bit of a run and maybe make some noise in the NFC South Division. I know we're 1-7 right now, but we can turn things around and maybe even make the playoffs if we hopefully design to, especially after the way the NFC South looked last year. But it's looking a lot better this year, though. However, that's where I'm going to end today's video. Let me know your thoughts on it in the comments down below. And if you're hyped for the Marvels and Loki Season 2 on the comments. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.